There's been a new wave of sincerity on YouTube, and I figured I'd write it. I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. I've unsuccessfully done it a few times. So I'll stop fiddling with shit on my desk and I will just start talking. This is going to be a polished video. This is just going to be me talking to the camera because I keep overthinking doing this. I'm 39 and I have been putting myself on the creative back burner for a long time. I'm trying to stop that. And this is one of those steps in doing that. Just trying to do something I've always wanted to do, despite the fact that it is going to be total and utter shit. Maybe part of this is an impending midlife crisis. I remember being 25 and thinking I was having a quarter life crisis, but it's nothing compared to what's going on now. As I'm creeping closer to 40, I started thinking about my legacy, what I'm leaving behind when I eventually die. Hopefully that's still not for a while. I currently don't have any kids or any particularly great achievements that I'll be leaving behind that at least that I can think of. And it's weird to be thinking about legacy right now, but it's consumed me. I've always been a creative person, and for a long time I let that kind of lay dormant. Probably because of a lot of life circumstances, working, I took in my niece and nephew. So that demanded a lot of attention. But now as time has gone on, I really feel the urge to want to share my creative side with people, to discuss things, to talk about things, or just to put stuff out in the world. For some reason, I haven't allowed myself to do that, and I've been really thinking about why that is. Probably one of the worst things I could ever have done for my mental health was read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, because in the back of my mind, I started to believe that I was an outlier that didn't take advantage of an opportunity. When I was in high school, I was in a band, several bands, but one in particular, and I feel like I kind of lost an opportunity by not pursuing that further. Because if you read the book, there's always someone who started doing something early. So when I was 16, 17, 18, I was in a band. We traveled places. We played shows in other towns. I wouldn't say we were particularly good, but I really enjoyed what I was doing. And I think that if I had kept on going with music, that definitely would have been a passion I could have pursued for a really long time. And maybe even made a career out of it. But a few things kind of came together. I think just my general lack of grit, a perceived idea of not being supported in creative endeavors, and really just not having support from significant others. And I think the biggest nail in the coffin was an encounter I had with a professor in college. I'm not going to get into that right now, but maybe I'll talk about that sometime on this channel. But whether I was actively held back by someone, or I was perceiving that I was being held back, or I was actually just self-sabotaging, I never pursued anything creative. I spent my 20s doing menial jobs. I eventually went back to college and I got an English degree, when I've taught for years since then. And while I do enjoy my job, I do also want to express myself creatively. And I just feel like I've built up this gigantic dam, this reserve that I am afraid to let go. And probably a lot of that is a fear of failure. That may be an inner voice trying to stop myself from failing, because it's safe. It's safe not to fail. It's safe not to try anything. But I figure if I fail, I could always move on. If I begin doing a project and it doesn't work out, I can finally actually fail at it, then not do anything. So that's what I've done. I've tried to give myself a lot of low stakes creative outlets, this being one of them. And I've tried to do YouTube videos several times, and I just decided, fuck it, let's turn the camera on, let's start going right now, because the only way to work this muscle is to actually do it. The same thing with writing. I have always wanted to write a novel, but I always stop myself from when I start. And so I'm starting from ground zero now. I'm giving myself small pieces to write. I'm going to polish those up. I'm going to throw them out in the world, just like I did when I was in high school with my band, recording songs on my computer's microphone. But what's crazy is even when I talk about creative projects with someone, people who are safe and who do support me, if anyone gives me any kind of slight pushback or criticism or the slightest reality check, I will shut down immediately. So I do think there's a bit of lack of grit there as well. There's a whole slew of projects that I've just left on the cutting room floor, for lack of a better term, because I just decide not to do them. And there are so many things that I've wanted to talk about on YouTube to create a YouTube channel, but for some reason I just can't get that first video out. So I'm putting this out, this turd, whatever it happens to be, I'm throwing it out there, and we'll just continue from there. This is really hard to do. There is a voice in the back of my head that is telling me, I'm 39, I've never done anything great, so I really should just shut up. I should buckle down, and I should work my job. I should be happy. I should do things that make me happy. And that kind of is resignation rather than contentment. And I want contentment. I want to be happy doing something, even if it's just for myself. So rather than trying to hunt down the muse, capture her, and force her to work for me, I'm just going to make room for her to show up in whatever form she may, whether that be in writing, through music, through drawing, art, or some other creative outlet that I haven't considered yet. But I'm going to give myself a lot of small wins to hopefully get some traction going. And this video is one of those. I'm trying to lean a lot into Stoic philosophy, to remain in the moment, to be here, to be centered, and really just to express myself, no matter if I am heading directly into middle age or not. So I am fearful, I am anxious, but I'm choosing to ignore those inner thoughts and feelings and to push this out in the world. I'm planning on using this as a platform to talk about that, talk about whatever I'm thinking about. And maybe you're in the same boat, maybe you're disinterested, but I'd love it if you'd subscribe, if you'd follow along with me, and let's get creative together. Or not, I'm not your boss, do whatever you want.